What's happening, guys? Welcome to This Week in Riverdale podcast. This week, the podcast is brought to you by the TWIRD t-shirts on sale in the media room, $12. Come down and get yours. Today's guest, we have Andrew Tummino and special surprise guest. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Welcome to the TWIRD Podcast. It's just to talk about behind the scenes of making of TWIRD, talk with the cast members. Today we have a very special guest, Andrew Tummino.
What's going on, guys? I'm pretty good. I'm kind of excited.
Good, man.
Not too many people kind of know what we do behind the scenes here and how everything kind of pans out, so we're bringing it to the viewers and show you guys what we do.
I really think this is a good platform to
bring your mic a little closer so just so we can hear.
Yep.
Right
okay.
there.
Awesome.
Cool.
Great. So we got some topics of discussion here.
All right. Let's get into it.
First off, we didn't really go into too much detail about episode 1 and the early episodes. I think we can all recognize some episodes were good, some were not as good as we expected them to be. Episode 8. So let's go into episode 1 just right off the bat.
Yeah. So like in the beginning of the year and over the summer, I had been just like me and Charlie had really gotten into the show Portlandia, and Jamie's gonna make fun of me for even bringing it up, but it's like just one of those shows. It's just a little weird, and it's a sketch show, but it's like the humor that we just find funny. But we thought the format of that show was really interesting and is easy to do, and it kind of worked out with how we were doing it. Like last year on This Week in Riverdale, what they would do is they'd just make a bunch of sketches and then go out and do something in the studio, and we didn't personally like that because we found as the episodes went on, it got really boring. Like, if you watch the first couple episodes, it's like a little bit more of an act, you know?
Yeah.
They put more time into writing it, and there were more characters, where towards the end they're just like, yeah, whatever. Like, even the last episode, like, there was no script at all. Like, they just went in like, whatever. So it was interesting to kind of see how we could play around with it.
Mm-hmm. So episode 1, conceiving the idea for episode 1, that was you started at the desk, that kind of deal, and then you take it into
like a little gag we wanted to play was like we wanted people to think like, oh, like great, like This Week in Riverdale is going to be the same as last year, and then just like it cuts like wait, and that's like the first time you see the whole transition into like, oh wait, like we're not using the studio cameras, and why it looks really good, and it was just really interesting. When I remember I edited it, and it was just so cool, like, oh, like we have a nice transition, and people kind of understand.
It's something that flows,
totally agree.
and something that people might not know. We're using we got new cameras since last year.
Yep.
We're using Canon T3Is. They're good, entry level DSLR for photography and video.
Stuff looks great. You've been using them since the beginning, right?
Yeah. We each had to do our own tutorial on how to kind of work it out. At first, it was a little confusing, not gonna lie. But the picture quality is great compared to the old cameras. That's a big step up, and I think it helps in the quality of our projects as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The way it's shot is a lot of it. And I was gonna say something. And now coming up to episode 12, I think you picture yourself as a master of the
Sure.
T3i.
I mean,
not
not a master. I really didn't know much as far as like filming went.
Right.
As far as the cameras, I'd always kind of ask you guys for help.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting better with it now, but as even our projects, I think are getting progressively. You'll see with the editing we do and everything are getting better. Maybe some of the topics are a little weak in some areas, but we're still trying to produce good stuff for you guys.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and then another thing, like with having like weak projects, is you don't want to always go for something so over the top,
so grandiose that you're not going to be able to.
Exactly.
Right.
Like we have essentially 2 weeks to
Sure.
go out and shoot and
Yeah.
write and film. So like, and if it's like a shorter week, even like, and we've had a lot of shorter weeks recently.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, like I mean, we'll get to episode 8 later, but episode 8, the reason why it was like the way it was because of a short week, and the fact that we have Thanksgiving also. What episode came out on Thanksgiving? I think that was 10. That was 10. 10 came out. 10 came out.
draft,
Thanksgiving.
right?
Yeah.
That was the draft.
I mean, yeah. We'll talk about 10.
Yeah,
too.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
So episode 1 happens. We change the format. Everyone gets actually excited for TWIRD, which is something that's new.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So then Andrew and I, who were on Team Gold, Team Black was episode 1. Team Gold has the job to do episode 2.
Yep.
Yes. So, you want to talk about episode 2 a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of like brainstorming ideas, and then someone brought up the idea of meta, which was like the whole idea of like talking into the camera, like you're talking to the audience.
Like breaking the fourth wall.
Exactly,
Right? Yeah.
breaking the fourth wall, and we saw that like in movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So we kind of used that as like our example. And you know, some people didn't really understand what meta was. We tried to explain it through our videos. So we had, I think, what was your piece in that one?
My piece was. I actually don't.
It's been a while.
So we were at the desk. That was Pimp My Locker, Gum Dealer, and whatever my piece was. Oh, it was the fall sports update. That was it.
Yeah.
So one thing that you might notice was let's just go through like a brief history. Let's say so from the beginning, we still had that kind of segmented formula where it wasn't necessarily the desk. But it was...
We had moved the desk away from the studio and then into the classroom.
Well,
Yes.
we were still introducing the topics, but it was just in a way that was more, I'd say, attractive to the kids who are watching it so that they actually want to watch the introductions, not just skip through to parts of videos. And that was the big thing we were kind of going over when we were doing this stuff.
And I think that took like the biggest change, like the biggest step away was episode 5, 6... and
the
10.
Halloween.
And 10.
I think 7 was pretty good with it too.
Yeah. 7 was I think 10.
5, 6, and 10. Yeah.
10 specifically just did away with that entirely.
Sure.
Like it was really just
it was
one piece.
Yeah.
One big leftover.
Yeah, seriously. Which is interesting. So
I did like that piece a lot. I really liked episode 10.
10 I loved.
And just how
here comes special. Does he need to edit?
Another one, Charlie Young. Hey, what's up, Charlie? We're doing the podcast.
Okay, so episode 10 happens. Actually, let's go back. Episode 5, Delps.
Episode 5, Delps. Charlie and I actually filmed a good majority of that, and it was an idea that Mr. Trena had. It was actually Trena wanted to do this thing called Teacher Diaries.
Let's squeeze in here.
Yeah, come on in. And so you two will be on that mic.
Yeah.
And it was this funny idea that Trena had where it was like Teacher Diaries, and he would, just to kind of help us get away from the whole writing the whole episode formula kind of thing, it would be an easy way for us to just do projects without having to worry about linking them as we've been having. And it was cool to see, like, after he was like, oh, well, Delps came in. Delps is always in here, like, period, too. And he was just like, oh, yeah, like, I want to do one. And he wrote his own, and he produced it. And it turned out to be like one of like.
I still hear that's one of the best episodes.
You know what was so awesome is he just brings like the whole new dimension to like a project.
Yeah, it was.
He'll totally make it his idea.
I honestly think without the Delps episode, I wouldn't have been able to do the Buzz Show.
Sure.
Like, cause like he brought in that little brand of like weird humor, like
really
with
weird.
like the oatmeal part. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I filmed that. We didn't tell him to do any of that.
He just did it.
I was literally filming like. Like, dude, like, what are you doing? I couldn't say anything because the sound was
and
gonna
also I think
affect
like
it.
with things like the Bug Show, like you kind of have to sacrifice kids thinking like, is this kid like okay?
Yeah,
like I've gotten like a good amount of reviews on it. Like I've gotten like, oh, you should have done this. Like from people that aren't necessarily in media, and they're like, dude, that was weird. That was great. Like that. Like what the hell is wrong with you?
All sides
Oh
of the
yeah,
spectrum.
exactly. Yeah. And it just gets to a point where you're just like, look, man, like you do what
It is what it is.
you want to do.
Yeah.
You like, and you also have to take yourself out of it a little bit. Like, would I want to watch this? If I was a viewer,
thing out of
yeah, it's not my work. It's just someone's work that would I continue to watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so episode 6. So towards episode 5, TWIRD starts to get weird. Really weird. So episode 6 hits. It's the perspective. I think. Well, I directed it, right?
Yes.
Trainer was on audio. Were you switching?
I switched.
I was on
switching?
camera.
Oh yeah. So I was directing it. You were in it.
There was like field day or something, and I remember like there were 0 girls in the room, It was just all the guys in the class.
I think that's what...
And it was great because we all had to put on each other's, like, you guys had to put on your makeup for yourselves, so you couldn't do it.
And we looked like,
hot.
Yeah, we looked hot. But no, it was really fun to kind of just shoot in front of like all your buddies and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah, act ridiculous.
And it was kind of all improv. Like we didn't have a set script that we were reading off of. We were just kind of playing off the way we acted. So it was really funny, and I'm kind of happy people thought it that way, too. And you always want to have that one episode that people remember you for. So I'm thinking that's going to be mine. Like Buzz has the Buzz show.
I mean, you got the box break too.
The box break
from last year.
So,
I mean, you're a legend.
Andrew, you're a born star.
Yeah. So it's but it's just fun to make projects that people like. So
yeah,
that's awesome. So I forget. I'm pretty sure I was absent the day that idea like happened. Like Trey came up with the idea, right? Or was it more of a?
It was like we were trying to figure out. I remember Rob Torino did a piece when he was here. I don't know how many years ago. 5 years ago.
Wasn't that the High School Musical?
Yeah, no, it was workout video.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
And me and Jamie were like, dude, we're gonna kill this. It would be so funny. And Mr. Tran's like, yeah, well, he did a really good job with it, but also you got to think of making a piece your own. So we're like, all right. We started brainstorming ideas, and we came up with the idea of like kind of like a game show type of thing. And then Mr. Trainer brought up, why don't you do like a talk show?
Like
so
The View, right?
Yeah,
it's like The View.
Exactly.
And then, like the name of it's even a joke, like the perspective.
It's a play off The View. So then we're like, oh, why don't we just dress up as women?
Just like that, casually.
Like, why don't we just do something funny, dress up as girls, and I think people will get a kick out of it. And we kind of asked people.
What was it? The captain of the football team, captain of the soccer team. Jamie's also on the football team, and Killian. I mean, look at Killian.
Killian's a manly guy.
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to hear him talk, you want to hear a man talk.
Name's
Hey,
Thunder.
what's up?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't get more manly than a middle name of Thunder. You're right. Like, and it was just great to see these guys who like I'm gonna say like you guys like are the image of masculinity in high school, kind of just like walking around. Like you guys are really great guys. Like I love you guys, but it's just so funny just to see.
It was funny.
Like the exact opposite end.
Yeah. Like I never got to see like Mike's a very quiet kid, and just to see him act out on camera was really funny.
Oh, it was great.
Same with Killian, so it was really cool. You kind of push each other's limits in these projects. Really,
it's
awesome.
great. I mean, it works on camera when you
feel
push yourself.
Yeah.
And you just gotta let go, and that's part of it. So, episode 7, Halloween. This was I think the longest production time we had. I think it was about a month. So we started.
Because Trainer was telling me like, hey, you guys got to get on it. Like, make sure you're getting filming, getting going, and then we got really lucky. One night we shot everything.
Yeah.
For like the.
And we didn't even need to go back.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, that never happened.
Packing up that night, I was like, I don't know, there might be something we need to reshoot, and luckily, all in the end
worked out really well.
I didn't really taking from I wasn't my project. I didn't really know how it was going to turn out, and then when I saw the pieces you guys were putting in, I was like, "This is awesome."
Oh yeah, you really weren't in the
I
production
really wasn't
part.
in it.
You were at the campfire.
But just to be there and kind of see what you guys were doing was really cool. And
Trey had the great idea. Like we had like an umbrella, and like this is for people. It's for people who like lighting. I mean, don't worry, this isn't going to be interesting. But like there was this umbrella. And we had, like, soft boxes.
Like a patio umbrella.
Yeah. And, like, Trey was just like, yo, why don't we just bounce the light off of that? And, like, it just worked. It was it looked
we just
so
happened to move it in a certain spot where it was over,
everyone.
I think, Kayla.
It was over the bench of Kayla, Mike.
Like, with, like, 3 people sitting.
Yeah.
And
Kyle,
the light
Chris.
just, like, Kayla's, like, red hair just made it so much better because it just literally
it did.
Crazy.
It looked really good.
And episode 7 was the first episode where we kind of crossed the teams. We cross-pollinated.
Yeah.
So
that was cool.
Buzz and you two were working on the campfire, right?
Charlie and I, yes.
Yeah. Then Ryan and I and special guest Joe Murphy were working on a different piece. Was it Kayla, Shannon, Amy?
They did like a Clinton Road.
Yeah, Clinton Road. And then
like found footage.
Dana and
Johnny did another project.
Another project. So we had 2 Team Gold members, I think, a bunch of Team Black members, and
because in the rotation that would have been a Team Black episode,
right.
but it's Halloween. We wanted to kind of give it to everyone.
And I kind of, you know, what I thought was kind of cool is like there was like the first time we were leaving the studio and branching out, doing.
It was the first time we were really filming.
That was the
out
most
of school.
equipment I've ever had to move between the school and home. Like that, my
Your
whole
car was
my
full.
whole
Had to
trunk
play,
was
like,
full.
Tetris.
No, literally.
It was crazy.
I don't know if we had more firewood or more equipment because that fire we were out there for like
fire,
I had
hours.
to pick up the firewood.
That was
too.
awesome.
That was crazy. Okay, so episode 8.
Yikes.
So because the Halloween episode
Was so great.
was like grandiose.
We had the problem with episode 8. We had 3 of like our best episodes in a row.
Back to
5, 6, 7. We had what was it?
Delps was 5.
Perspective, Halloween.
Yeah.
And then we came back to a short week. We came back to like 2 days.
Literally.
Yes. Well,
and the goal
like the
was,
way the day rotation fell,
we only met
it was a
once.
3-day week, and only 2 of the days we had class.
We were sitting down and we're like, what are we gonna do?
yeah. I actually when we were working on episode 7, I wasn't too much part of the post production part of episode 7. So I took it that I should just come up with ideas, and that's when the amp draft idea came out. And also, I had one idea for episode 8, and I thought I was going to get started working on that. And the original idea was Pat O'Hare Barrows, Pob, Kyle, and I all worked on the episode, and we would bring back people from the episodes prior. The way it turned out was I was out a lot then for like college auditions and stuff. So when I was out, other ideas got thrown around and stuff like that happened, and that idea got taken out, and then another idea got thrusted in, which was Killian and Pob sitting here, which we filmed, and then the throwback happened. We just put in a couple throwback episodes, and I don't even know where that kind of that happened.
We did
that transition happened.
I feel like episode 8 was bad, but it was great for us because we got a great lesson out of it.
Yeah,
it's that
that's something we needed.
Time
Everyone
crunch.
needed at this
We had a
point in
time
the year.
crunch that we really needed to handle. We learned what our audience and what our viewers really want, and we understand. And like when I first heard that like all these people didn't like it because it was old projects, I was like, that's so silly to me because these projects are great. But I'm like,
you don't have,
at the same time, it's good to know that they're loyal.
That they're loyal to
us.
us. Like, yeah.
They want to see us.
To a person that makes the comedy so much more different.
Exactly. Like
like someone from another school watching your box break video, they're not going to think it's funny.
They're not,
but I think that's the thing. It's like we're able to show
Connect
types of humor with people that, because we go here, we know what's funny, and like other inside jokes that only Riverdale people would get. And so I think we can like play off that as well.
I know I try to stay away from those because I want to be just about like as divert, like because I don't want to
more general.
I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves to funny for Riverdale.
I mean, you can focus on
on
the
YouTube.
easy joke.
Other people are watching it, so you also want to have like viewers.
I mean, I was looking at the over Trina's shoulder. I was looking at the video analysis. We have views in like Switzerland.
Do we really?
Yeah, we have like 2 views from Switzerland.
Just in case.
People are like trolling around the internet and they find stuff. They come up and I think we do a pretty good job here for like what we have, and like compared to a lot of other like high schools and stuff.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have the resources that we.
It's awesome.
So we have about like 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
So let's talk about episode 10 real quick. I'll just go over. So episode 10 happened. I think that was a major like pivotal like
it was like a turning point for us as far as like how much we can handle in a short span of time, and like really how much I think our class has grown over this past couple months.
The beginning of the school year,
I think.
And it was great to see everyone working together. Like the scene that we shot in here, like that was most of the class.
Oh yeah, no, that was all of the class.
Was it?
Except for every single person in the class was in this room.
All right,
Which I mean was great, and I think the episode turned out really well.
Yeah,
because
I've heard people like that episode.
I mean, it just flowed so well. The piece Mike and I worked on the introductions, the Mike DeBenedatti that thing.
Mm-hmm. That took you how long?
It took two. It
to
literally
get
took
really solid names.
2 weeks from the beginning to end. It took us about 3 days to work on those names.
That's the thing. People don't realize that
how much
even the
work.
littlest
it's
of things,
crazy.
a minute and 30 project can take 2 weeks.
It's insane.
So it's you really got to think about how much work goes into that stuff.
So, yeah, and that just took a
So, yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
So
But it paid off in the end, right?
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So now we should wrap up. We have switched the teams. I just want to let everyone know.
Yep.
We switched. We have 3 teams now.
Making it a little interesting.
Yeah, 3 teams. The episodes might be a little bit shorter, but I feel like the pieces and the projects won't be any less good.
They'll be better.
I think they'll be better.
So much better
Because we have a little more time to work on them.
Yep.
The writing's going to be a little better.
Plus,
Editing.
we're not pigeonholed to just one person you're always working with. Like, I've worked with Jamie in a lot of projects, and that's awesome.
And I just got to work with Jamie. I think this is going to be... This
Yeah.
is my favorite project
Oh,
to work
so
on right
fun.
now.
So like when you kind of get to branch out, like I'm with Charlie for the first time, I'm with Dana, Killian, and Chris, Sabrina. So it's really cool to have different group members.
I'm excited about what's to come. I'm sure all of us are. I think the next couple episodes are going to be
Very
very,
interesting.
very good.
It's gonna be our next span of probably the next good episodes in a row. So look out for that.
Thanks for listening to the TWIRD Podcast. I'm Buzz Lombardi.
I'm Trey Plutnicki. If you have any questions, please write to the email that's on screen.
That's rdtv@riverdale.org.
And if you have any questions, comments, if you want to see another guest on the TWIRD Podcast, whether it be a member of the cast, a teacher, or
A huge fan, even.
a massive fan, we'll be having a fan on next week, so look out for that. If you want, you can come down to the media room, buy yourself a TWIRD t-shirt.
Only $12. Just come on down.
$12 on sale. It's a fantastic Christmas gift for your mom or your grandma, the frequenter of TWIRD. I want to thank you guys again for coming, for listening to this podcast. I'm Trey Plutnicki once again.
I'm Buzz Lombardi, signing off.